Hey guys, so it's been forever since I've done a video and I'm overdue doing Isla's 5-month update, which I am going to do, but since last update, since her 4-month update, a lot has happened. I had planned to do quite a few videos which I'm still going to try and put up, some that I'd already filmed and started editing and other stuff as well, but something quite horrible happened. On the 2nd of July, Liam had a serious car accident and was airlifted to Royal London Hospital. Yeah, so everything just kind of obviously just stopped. My life just was on hold. Yeah, so that's the main reason why I haven't really done anything. Obviously, as you can tell, it was, well, as you can imagine, so they, you know, it was quite horrible at the time. He's okay, before anyone gets worried, he is alright, but basically we found out, you know, police came around and told us that he had been airlifted. My mum took Isla and Loki and looked after them for me. I went up with Liam's parents to Royal London Hospital. When we got there, we were told he was awake and talking. Obviously had several broken bones and quite a lot of injuries. After a couple of hours of us waiting around and stuff and trying to find out what was going on, we pestered them enough and they allowed us to go and see him. But on the way going to see him, they told us that they had to sedate him, which they hadn't updated us about until we were going in, because he had a seizure. It was horrible seeing him like that. It was probably one of the obviously worst experiences of my life. But yeah, like, we got to see him just before we went off for another brain scan, which came back fine. They then took him up to intensive care, and like, we managed to go up there and see him before we left, and it was like ridiculous o'clock in the morning at this point, and we'd been there all night, and yeah. But they were going to keep him sedated because in the morning he was going to have surgeries for all his broken bones. Basically, he's got all his right side is done. So he had a broken arm that was an open wound, and he's got like splint or whatever metalwork in his arm as well. His femur leg broke, which is one of the hardest bones to break in your body. And they've put pins in that and they've put a bar in it, and he's also got a fracture in his ankle, which they've put bars in now and, like, yeah, to fix it, and then he's got a cast on. Other than that, he's obviously had several stitches, he's had chest drains in, so he's got stitches on his, well, he had stitches on his side. Yeah, so obviously it was quite bad and quite intense for the first couple of days. Obviously the first sort of 24 hours, nearly 48 hours actually, he was sedated, and obviously they nearly spent like the whole day basically in theatre doing everything. He had a really deep laceration on his tongue and all of this down here, and underneath his chin he had a massive cut. He had a cut on his eyebrow, yeah, and all under here was like come apart and been stitched back together. Yeah, loads of things basically, obviously, as it was quite intense. So over the next couple of days, they decided to wake him up after they'd done the surgeries the next day. And that first day he was just not with it, and yeah, it was horrible as well seeing him like that in that state. And then for the next couple of weeks we'd been back and forth to seeing him constantly. So basically every day was basically trying to sort out living at home and obviously money situation, as well as looking after Isla, going and seeing Liam. But despite the fact that they told us originally that he was going to be in hospital for months, he is now home. So it's only been like he was in hospital for nearly 3 weeks. Yeah, I think 3 weeks. And when he came home, basically they were going to transfer him to another hospital, but because he had got to a point where he could move around a little bit, he can't walk and put any weight on his right side at the moment, because he can move around and stuff. All he would have been doing at another hospital is sitting in bed, doing physio, and just trying to get better, basically. So it wasn't going to be any different than he could do at home. Obviously it meant getting here, and he had to prove that he could do stairs, which he can just about do, but it is really difficult because he has to hop everywhere. Yeah, so he's home now, which is obviously amazing, and it's a miracle, completely a miracle, that he's home as soon as because he shouldn't be. Like, even everyone that we saw, like all the doctors, all the nurses, from his accident, they just said that there was no way he should even be here, let alone be as well as he was, as quick as he was, should I say. Obviously we still have a long way to go in terms of rehabilitation and physio and getting him better. Obviously, he's got the cast on his leg until September, and he has to go back for a review and see then if he can start weight bearing on his right side. So once he can start weight bearing, obviously the real sort of, you know, healing begins, because he can start learning to walk again. And yeah, obviously throughout all of this, looking after Isla and Loki, and that has been a bit hectic as well, but to be honest, Isla and Loki have been the best they could ever have been throughout it all, and I've had a lot of, obviously, support from friends and family, which has helped a lot. Like, I would not have been able to do half the amount of what I've done if I didn't have them, so yeah, it's been good in that respect. And Isla has definitely been amazing for her. She, obviously, luckily, she's completely oblivious to really what's going on, and she just loved being out all the time. She absolutely loved getting the trains and seeing lots of different people and talking to different people and having attention put on her. Like, she absolutely loved it. It was quite heartbreaking to start with, because obviously Liam wasn't able to see her, like she wasn't allowed on the wards, but it then became a motivation that if he was able to get up and get out of bed and getting into a wheelchair, we could wheel him out and he could come and see her. So that, like, obviously spurred him on to get out and stuff, and yeah, it worked. He got out and was able to see her a lot quicker than anyone thought he would be able to. And yeah, so we spent some days just literally in the waiting room with Liam and Isla, and just, yeah, us basically chilling, which was nice in the situation it could have been, as good as it could have been. So yeah, that's sort of a brief update as to why things haven't really been happening on my channel that much, but I have got videos, like I said, that I'm going to be putting up, and I will be carrying on doing monthly updates, as well as hopefully other videos in between as well. So I haven't gone completely, I'm still here, and we are on the road to recovery for all of us, really. So yeah, that's it really.